Welcome to the chemistry question. Jordan here, and today I want to explore one of my favorite thought experiments and its broader implications in the world of physics. A thought experiment would be impossible or impractical to perform, so it is instead posed and left for debate. Often thought experiments pose an apparent paradox that is debated and sometimes solved, though other times left open so scientists can argue about it for decades or even centuries. The particular thought experiment I want to explore is that of Schrödinger's cat. I like this experiment because it takes something very hard to understand and ties it to something easier for the average person to grasp. For those of you unfamiliar with Schrödinger's cat, I will explain the thought experiment. Say you have a cat, and you place it in a steel box. Yes. With the cat, you place a very small amount of radioactive substance so that in the course of an hour, the probability of one atom decaying is 50%. You include a Geiger counter to detect when the atom decays. Attached to the Geiger counter, you have a hammer which will swing and break a flask of hydrocyanic acid. The hydrocyanic acid will kill the cat. The question is, after 1 hour, is the cat living or dead? The paradox comes when, according to quantum mechanics, the cat is neither alive nor dead, but it is in a superposition of states, so it is both alive and dead. That is until we check, and it shrinks into a single state of either alive or dead. Now I'll go into some history to give you some time to let that process. This thought experiment was devised in 1935 by Austrian physicist Erwin Schrödinger, intended to illustrate the apparent absurdity of the Copenhagen interpretation of quantum mechanics. The Copenhagen interpretation is the most accepted interpretation of quantum mechanics by scientists. In a nutshell, not literally, the Copenhagen interpretation says that quantum mechanics does not define an absolute reality, but rather gives probabilities of various aspects of measurement of the quantum world. It teaches that quantum particles must be considered to exist in a superposition of states until measured, at which point they collapse into a single state. Schrödinger believes that this interpretation defied common sense and came up with this thought experiment to prove it. However, since then, the Copenhagen interpretation has been repeatedly backed through more experiments and observation. Unfortunately, this paradox, like quantum mechanics, is open to interpretation. I will try and explain the common interpretations and attempts, but ultimately, you must choose how to view it. Some would say that the macroscopic world cannot behave in the same way as the quantum world, so the cat is either alive or dead, quickly ending the discussion. Another thing that may be considered is what counts as observation. Is the atom's fate and thus the cat's determined when we open the box? Or since the cat is conscious and knows whether or not it's alive, can we count the cat being self-aware as observation? Or since the Geiger counter measures radioactivity, does that count as observation? In other words, at what point must the superposition collapse? If we have to open the box and look to make it collapse, the question then becomes, does someone have to be observing us for us to exist in a single state? And then who is making that entity exist? A group of scientists rejects the Copenhagen interpretation altogether in favor of the many worlds hypothesis. The many worlds hypothesis says that two alternative universes are created when the box is opened. In one universe, the cat lives. In the other, the cat dies. This gives us an infinite number of universes that split every time different outcomes are possible. So what do you think? And feel free to post your beliefs in the comments below. If you're not already subscribed, consider subscribing for more awesome videos. Thanks for watching.